Hi, I'm Megha Sinha, founder and CEO of Kolter AI and Camit Consulting Group. I've nearly spent 2 decades in life sciences, including 8 years at PwC, running some of the largest transformation programs in our industry. Yeah, hard to believe we're already through Q1 of 2020, half year one of 2026. Um, Half built, and the built half is the easier half. Based on publicly available data, pharma companies such as Merck, Novartis, and BMS now run real-time what-if simulations on selected SNOP processes as a core function. And the plant level digital twins have grown in the market worth over $1 billion. So the capability to ask if this lane fails, what happens is generally deployed across some of these pharma companies. But those systems simulate shipments, inventory, and capacity, which is very critical. But they're not living tariff decision engines. And when I looked, I could not find a single pharma company that has deployed something similar or is running one today. For most, tariff planning is still happening in a quarterly review slide after the disruption has already occurred. And every deployed system that we just talked about stopped at the physical network. None of them actually reaches the regulatory consequence. So the variations, the label updates, the grace periods, the country by country submission waves that a single reshore this API sets off, each traced to the source regulation. That half has that never been automated, and it's the expensive one, which is exactly why we built it. From 2 decades of doing this work by hand, an engine that takes the network of a network or process decision and compute its compliant, costed market by market execution. Everything else moves the molecule. We make sure that you can actually compute the change across your markets. Inside the plant, the first half of 2026 has delivered. Manufacturers are reporting agentic systems that detect an out of spec result, pull the batch records, cross reference historical deviations, draft a root cause analysis, and route it to the right reviewer with investigation time reductions of 50% or more in a validated GXP environment. That is a shift from AI as a productivity layer to AI as an operational participant. But even these best deployments reason locally. They can translate a deviation into its financial and supply impact, and that is still only half the blast radius. None of them still know that the change the change that was recommended might be a minor change on the floor, but it is a major variation requiring prior approval in Brazil, a 6-month grace period in Germany, a bundling opportunity across 4 other markets. That proposal stops at the fence line, and the cross-market regulatory execution had no engine behind it. And this is why we have built one, because we need to close that gap, right, from what the shop floor is doing or the plant floor is doing to actually what needs to happen to get that product out in the market. To me, that is the next frontier, and companies should be moving on it now. The four proposes the change. We compute what it triggers across every market where the product is registered.